Hello guys, it's Route 1 Encounter You Bar Eradicate, and I am here at Silva's place, not on my computer. I'm recording on my phone, so we're back to these days. So all you had to look at is this lovely Okami scroll in the background. And I'm slouching a bit because this chair is a little too tall, but it's alright, we're gonna make this work. Because I want to talk about Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight Silksong just got announced. It just got its trailer. I guess it is an announcement because it's announced as a full new game rather than a DLC. So for context, and I'll start off by saying that I am not overly familiar with Hollow Knight. I'm not like an OG fan. I didn't play it till this year. I don't think I found out about it until, this year being 2018, because my brain's still not in 2019 yet. But I didn't play it till 2018 on the Switch, and I didn't really know much about it until probably 2017. Um, hold on, this is gonna get nervous. Hold on. All right, so anyway, I'm a big fan though. I haven't actually beaten it. I'm at the final boss fight. I'm trying to beat the Radiance, but the Radiance is she's the Radiance. All right. But I am a big fan of the game, and I was really excited when I was looking through, I was trying to figure out what was DLC in Hollow Knight. I was trying to figure out, like, which parts, because I couldn't tell, like, playing it. I had no idea what was and wasn't additional content, which I think is really cool about it. But, I was scrolling down on the wiki, and I saw, question mark, question mark, question mark, playable Hornet. And I was like, ooh, because that's, 'cause I'm a fan of Hornet. Um, and I was kind of wondering where that was, and I was looking through they had like the Kickstarter post or whatever that went back. I think they stopped in 2017 or something like that, but they stopped a while ago, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder what's happening with that. Because in my mind, I was thinking, just have Hollow Nest, have Hollow Knight, but then you just switch over to Hornet, and she controls a little different, and maybe there's additional couple bosses, maybe some extra characters with different dialogue, stuff like that. I wasn't even sure if that would entail, like, starting over the game, necessarily, or, like, because they said something about her own story, but I was like, what exactly does that mean? But today, it's revealed that Hollow Knight Silksong is a full new game by Team Cherry, featuring Hornet as the primary protagonist in a foreign land. So it does exist in the same universe, just in a different location, which I think is really cool because obviously the second I heard Silksong, even not being overly familiar with the lore and all that, which I'm going to get into after I finish the game, even though I've learned a lot of it by accident. But the immediately when I saw Silksong, I was like, oh, the Weavers. We're going to where the Weavers left, right? Like, because the Weavers are a race that left. If you don't know anything about Hollow Knight, I guess not to get too spoilery, but the Weavers are a race that was mentioned to have left Hollow Nest like forever ago, and so that was kind of a cool thing where, like, I don't like comparing it to Dark Souls because it's obviously a game that stands on its own, with its own merits, that it doesn't have to be tied to Dark Souls. But, you know, Artorias is kind of in that game, so I kind of have to, make mention that in Dark Souls, they do talk about foreign lands sometimes. Like, in Dark Souls 1, you have Astora and Karim and, what's it called? Vinheim, and all different kinds of foreign lands. But Lordran itself exists kind of above the clouds, and you only really see two places. You see Lordran and Ash Lake, right, which is the world that was. And so I was always kind of I've always been curious about those foreign lands because it's really weird thinking about Dark Souls 1 and I mean all of them, where the game takes place in this little box and you don't get to see anything outside that box. And when a character leaves, like Lucatiel in 2, I don't know a whole lot about 2, forget a lot of that, but Lucatiel talks about Mira, and there's just, like, these characters talking about these places, and it's like you always wonder what they're like. Or like, how fucked Lordran is, how fucked Hollow Nest is. Is there just a normal world outside of that fucked little box, right? And so this kind of seems like it is that situation because Hollow Nest is fucked. Like Pat said it somewhere. Pat from Best Friends said it somewhere recently. Capital F fucked. I think he used to describe Drangleic in Dark Souls 2. But Hollow Nest is capital F fucked, right? Like, there are very few like cognitive living people walking around there. But this game, they said it's new towns, new characters, and new towns. And when I read towns, I was like, that doesn't just stand as new towns, like new ones. That sounds like towns at all, because like other than Dirtmouth and I can't even say parts of the City of Tears. Like just it's like Dirtmouth and that's it. And Dirtmouth is a place that has like it's a population of like 8 people sometimes, depending on where you are in the story. Sometimes it has like more than 3 people in it. And so the world looks really vibrant. Again, I'm on my phone, so I can't post the trailer, or I can't put like clips of the trailer or anything in here. So I'm assuming you've watched the trailer. If you haven't watched the trailer, go watch the trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong. And you'll hear the birds queeing in the background. That's Mocha. But this world looks really vibrant, and I like immediately I noticed like, oh, the quality of the art is just better. Like the art was fantastic before, but especially during I think it's the stag cutscene where he takes you between places that I noticed like that looks like it was made for a Kickstarter game in 2014. But besides that one cutscene, and I think the ending cutscene, like everything else looks really great. Like they've updated everything as the game went on really well. But this game looks so like above and beyond somehow, and especially I noticed immediately with Hornet's sprite that she is not as small as she was, because she was kind of proportional to the knight before, but she seems a bit taller now. It's kind of like how Fire Emblem characters gain feet. She got a little bit taller in however long it was between the end of Hollow Knight and the beginning of this game. But we see her captured by somebody who I thought looked like the grubs at first. But not the grubs, the maggots. I thought they looked like the maggots at first, but they're not. Just a side thought, I guess. They have little weird ears. But she's captured by somebody, and she uses her thread to break out. And then she goes on this adventure in a new world. And she has a system, apparently. I watched the little developer video where they talked about, they just went through the bullet points on the website, which I believe is HollowKnightSilksong.com. They made it yesterday, apparently. But one of the points was that she has a system similar to the Knight's crest system, or charm system, rather. Took a second to remember that. The charm system, she has something similar, but she uses gadgets, and there's like some kind of crafting element to it. When I hear crafting, obviously my brain is like, ugh, more crafting. But it seems kind of cool because she's more of a technical, skilled hunter, protector. And in the trailer, the one I noticed was she equips a little charm thing that's a little red ball, and then she has like the what is it? Glowing womb, the little bugs floating around her, but it's a little ball that she throws into the air, and then it pops open into a little mechanical bug. And so I think that'll be pretty interesting. And I didn't get a chance to go back and watch. I wanted to talk about this before I forgot anything, but I want to look back at the charm screen itself. And sorry, I keep fucking my nose itchy. I just woke up. I want to fuck with see what the charm screen looks like, because it looked weird. It looked like there were maybe 4 slots in it, but there's a big primary hole in the middle. So I'm wondering if maybe you equip like one primary like mechanical thing and then kind of like attachments to it, possibly. I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah, it is interesting. They talk about Hornet's connection to this new land, and part of it's that kind of the sequel fear, where it's like, is this a game that, like, is this a story that needs to be told? Or is it something that's, like, trying to fit in where it doesn't exactly need to? Because Hornet is very, very, very attached to the world of Hollow Nest, from what I can tell. From what I can tell, and I guess, maybe minor spoilers if you care about Hollow Knight, if you haven't played it. It came out in 2014, so I'm sure everyone's played it by now, but she was created in Hollow Nests, or given birth to in Hollow Nest. Um, and her parents are kind of prominent figures in that world, or in that little kingdom. And so the idea that she would have relevance outside of that kingdom seems kind of weird to me. Unless it is because I forget what the Weavers seemed important, and I don't remember how attached to the kingdom of how I don't know how attached to the Pale King they were, but they seemed important. So maybe it has something to do with that. But I just hope that it feels like as natural a connection as everything else in that game. It did start off as DLC, but then I guess their plans grew a little too big, a little too grandiose, and they ended up deciding to make it its own game, which is really cool because I was worried about, while at the same time I did think it would be cool to have like Hornet as her own little side package on Hollow Knight to just make that game beefier, because that's a beefy game right there. But I did also worry about her adventure being too small and it feeling too similar to the Knights. Because Hornet's a cool character and she does deserve this game. She deserves the treatment she's getting, so I'm very happy about that, because my affection for her and the Knight has grown like substantial very quickly. My love for a lot of characters in that game. I wanted to mention specifically honorable mention to Cloth, because Cloth is like I've been playing the game in like wide chunks where I take big breaks between. But from what I'm remembering right now, Cloth is probably one of my favorite characters, because she follows, again, to mention Dark Souls, but she follows kind of a similar path to, I want to say, like Sigmire and Solaire, where she's kind of like, she's an adventurer, but she's kind of cowardly. Like she's an adventurer who's not great at being an adventurer yet, but rather than hollowing out, she kind of finds her way, which is nice. I do like that Hollow Knight carries some of the like Dark Souls 1, the characters aren't as gloomy and depressing as they are in later games. There are often moments of levity, and there's a lot of more cheerful people walking around Lordran than there are in Drangleic, and I can't remember the name of the Dark Souls 3 place. What was that called? Lothric. The people in Lothric, Drangleic, and Boletaria are all pretty fucking sad. They're all very depressed. Who the fuck is calling me? Get out of here. Okay. They're fucking sad, but Hollow Knight's world has more of a spread of people. And so I'm interested to see, a lot of the characters in Silksong look very goofy, and I think that's going to be fun. I'm excited to see, especially because Hornet herself is not goofy. Hornet seems like kind of a stoic, she is a protector, she's a little more stoic, and she's very skilled, and she knows how skilled she is. She's not above helping others, obviously, based on, again, the Radiance fight, but she is a little bit more stoic and reserved. And so seeing her interact with a cast of goofy characters, I think it'll be kind of a nice inverse to what we normally see, where we have a main character who doesn't speak, and is kind of gloomy and implied to be emotionless and empty, and interacting with all these weird characters around them. And then we have her, where she's the weird character interacting with all these like goofy, jovial, weirdos. Let me think. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, because I am very excited. I'm going to finish Hollow Knight soon. It is just my own skill level keeping me back from fighting that boss. Maybe I'll talk more about Hollow Knight sometime in a video, maybe a drawing video. But it's really great, and I've been having a really great time with it. So I'm more than excited for having Hornet have her own game, because that's a whole new, like, Hollow Knight's a lot of game. And so if they keep up, because they talked about how they already have too much stuff for Silksong, and that they're probably going to end up making a lot of it I mean, taking ideas into additional content, not like cutting things out, but taking those ideas and having to make additional content out of them. Which, if they put in as much as they put into Hollow Knight original, then that'll be really great. The one thing I just remembered also is that an interesting thing about this game is that Hollow Knight was, they mentioned in the video, this isn't my own perception, Hollow Knight was a game about descent, where you start from kind of the surface level, and the game is about going downward. Down, 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 into the hole. And that makes a lot of sense for who the knight is as a character, and their origin, their inception. But this game, and especially, again, in Hornet's character, this game is about Ascension, where you kind of start at ground level and you're going up, because there's some kind of citadel at the top of this kingdom. But this game's going to be a lot about climbing, about rising instead of descending. And so I think that alone is going to set it apart from Hollow Knight a lot, where in Hollow Knight, the deeper you get into the game, and the more sort of the heavier things get, I guess, the more the more gravity upon the situation you come across. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean. Like, the farther you get into the story and the more important and dire things get, the darker the area gets around you, to the point where like chasing the prior to the Nosk fight, to not say anything, like if I say Nosk, people who haven't played don't know what Nosk is, hopefully. But the lead up to Nosk is one of the scariest horror games I've played in like forever, probably since Dead Space. Yeah, I don't know if I haven't really played any horror games since, like, I mean, not counting Resident Evil, because I didn't play 7, and Resident Evil's, you know, until recently was not really a horror game anymore. I didn't play 2 yet. But the lead up to Nosk was fucking scary, but it was also dark, and I couldn't see shit in that room. And when you get down into the other parts of there, like around the basin and the you know, that whole area, Deep Nests, that shit's dark, man. It's hard to see in there. Like, it's not just thematically, but it's like it's visibly dark. It's hard to see. And so the idea that in Silksong, as you get deeper into the game, as you get higher into the game, the more important areas are going to be like luminous, and they're going to look like Godhome. And because I think Godhome looks great. There's this art style that, again, that's something I'll definitely talk about in a drawing video more, but the art style of Hollow Knight is like so incredible. Like, it's such an immaculate, just, it's so unique, because it would be really easy for a game like this to fall into like being Dark Souls like, or even Symphony of the Night-esque, you know, because it is a game that derives a lot from other things. Like, when I fought Grimm for the first time, I haven't beaten Grimm either, but when I fought Grimm for the first time, I went, oh, this is, I was sitting, I think Silva was getting ready for work, and I was like, oh, this boss is just Dracula. He did the cape spike that the Phase 3 Dracula from Dracula X Chronicles does, like the blood butterfly wings where he stabs the ground and the spikes come out. He did that shit. He does the fire bats. They're fire bats in a world where everything is bugs. He throws fire bats. Like, he's fucking Dracula. and that's great. I was very excited to see that. But you know, it very clearly takes after Dark Souls and Castlevania Symphony of the Night specifically. But it is, that's why I mentioned I don't like comparing it to Dark Souls necessarily. I do talk about it in the Soulsborne chat in my Discord server, which, by the way, if you want to hang out and talk about stuff, that's the place to do it. But it is its own thing, to the point where I don't feel right. Just like, I don't want to put that game like up against Dark Souls, you know. I want it to have its own value and stand on its own, because it does stand on its own. What I mean is, I want to respect it as such, you know. But even though it takes heavily off of those things, it doesn't look like those games. I mean, even areas that are similar, even areas that are very clearly taking inspiration from other things, it has its own visual style that is so unique to it, and I love it. I think it looks great. And I was actually staring at one of the environments like yesterday, trying to pinpoint, and this is something I have to think about a lot for the video, but for whatever video comes out of this, but I'm trying to like pinpoint what exactly it is about the lighting and everything that makes it look so unique. A lot of it does take from that. There's that visual like kind of motif of the shell, which I guess is like they mentioned nail and shell being shields, but there's that little shield crest that has like the three segments to it, where that shows up all over the game, and I think I see it. I think I saw it a bunch in Silksong too. But yeah, just it's really great, and I'm really excited for Silksong. As far as playthroughs go, while I'm still at this time working on the Let's Go playthrough, which is taking longer than I had hoped, because I'm lazy, and I still have to finish the last two episodes of Resident Evil, last two chunks of video of Resident Evil, which will probably amount to like 6 episodes or 8. But I don't know I don't know if I'll ever do gameplay videos of Hollow Knight, because the way I play that game, I don't think it would be very enjoyable to watch, honestly. It's the kind of thing where if I were to play through it several times and kind of master it, maybe, but at the same time, the game's been out since 2014. Like, what do I have to add to that, you know? So, I don't know if I'll even do anything for Silksong, because it's the kind of thing where I want to enjoy it on my own, partially as well. But, I'll definitely try to do an art video for it at some point. Because I do want to draw Cloth, because Cloth is a fucking hero. I love Cloth. But, yeah. So, I think that's all the rambling I'm going to do for now. Thank you guys for watching. Look forward to Hollow Knight Silksong. And, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.